Hello, I'm Ian Summerall. I'm keen pigeon shooter and decoyer, author of The Art of Decoying Pigeons and Corvids. I'm told it's the only book that deals with decoying corvids. Interesting. I wrote for Countryman's Weekly and for Gunmark for many years, and I put all the articles together and produced a small book to help newcomers to our sport. Unfortunately, as you no doubt are well aware, as from 12 o'clock tonight, the general licence that is issued by the government to allow us to shoot pigeons and crows has been removed. Yes, it's been revoked by Natural England after a court case which never happened. They were threatened with a court case by Chris Packham and Mark Avery from a group called Wild Justice, which is a new group that's been set up by the two of them. And what they want to do is basically stop us shooting. So Natural England revoked the licence from 12 o'clock. In the interim, before they reissue the licences, you can apply for an individual licence. Now, what happens is very sketchy. It's supposed to be able to do it at 7 o'clock tonight on the Natural England site. I went in at 6:30 before I knew it was 7 o'clock, and I had to register as a farmer. Luckily, I got a small holding number which allows me to register as a farmer. But is that only from my ground or any other ground that I shoot on? I don't know. Will the general licence that's issued be restricted on the number of birds you can shoot? Customers of mine have licences to kill cormorants on fishing lakes, and they have a number of cormorants on a lake, and Natural England will give them a licence, and they will limit them to 1, 2 or 3 cormorants a season. Well, that's no good for us pigeon shooting. You could go out and get 5 or 6 pigeons, or you could have 50 or 100 pigeons. How many pigeons do you know that are going to be there? Have you got to wait until they're damaging the crop before you can apply? You might have to have evidence of the damage. This is absolutely crazy. To control pests on farmland is a common law right. But that right has been taken from us by EU legislation. Yes, we're going into Brexit territory again. The EU are controlling us. We had a common law right to control pest species. Pigeons, crows, magpies, rabbits, foxes. When the EU came up with the bird directive, all wild birds were protected. So, to get over this, to allow us to shoot pigeons and crows, the government brought in the general licence. So, from being a right to control pests on farmland, it has now become a privilege. We will kindly let you shoot, they tell us. We have issued this general licence. But now they revoked that licence. Therefore, the shooting of pigeons and crows is now prohibited. But advice on the Natural England site says that if you want to protect crops, you can use Section 4 of the Wildlife and Countryside Act 1981. Now, the Wildlife and Countryside Act was 1968, and that was amended in 1981, and that's when they brought in the general licences. The section says that you can shoot certain species in control of livestock and crops to protect them. The advice from Basque is not to rely on it. Now, no one's ever been prosecuted under it. It's never been to court. There's been no court case. So there's no case law to advise anybody on. So if you're a pigeon shooter and you need to go pigeon shooting in the next 3 days, well, it may be more longer than 3 days. They tell us that there will be a new license issued on Monday. But which new licenses we don't know. How many species will they cover? What conditions will be on them? We don't know. There is thought that there could be up to 30 new licenses to replace the last 3. Just to make things more interesting, make things more complicated, it could take 2 or 3 weeks. More like 2 or 3 months. We have a new department with wildlife licensing in Natural England. They are now an NGO, a government agency which has been outsourced. This you can't make this up. They issue the general license, and they, by the sounds of things, mucked up. They didn't go through the proper procedures. That's why Chris Packham and Mark Avery were able to threaten a court case and ask for judicial review. Now, was it done on deliberately, or was it a cock-up? I don't know. Who knows? But as from 12 o'clock tonight, there is no general license. If you go shooting tomorrow, or until Monday, or until the licenses are renewed, please take care. The problem is, who's going to police it? If you're seen out pigeon shooting and somebody calls the police, are the police going to turn up? The firearms involved, so the firearms unit's going to have to turn up. What's the cost to the police for a guy shooting a few pigeons that may be damaging crops, or crows that are taking livestock or eggs? Are the police going to spend all that money on picking up a guy pigeon shooting against the law? I don't think they'll do it. If you ring up and say somebody's pigeon shooting, it's illegal because they've banned it and they haven't got a license, you could be facing an unspecified fine and 6 months inside. But who is going to prosecute you? Are the police going to waste their time coming after you when they should be dealing with all the knife crime and drug dealers that are in the country? So please, if you do go shooting, please take care. Please read the information so that you can give it to the constable if he turns up. If there is a firearms unit turn up, put your gun, unload your gun, put it away in a slip and meet them in the field. Explain to them that you're protecting crops, and take a copy of the Wildlife and Countryside Act with you and show them section 4 and say, this is my exemption. They won't know if it's going to work in court or not, and nor do you, and nor do I. I'm not a lawyer, but read it yourself, make your own mind up. This is a crazy situation, never should have happened. Pigeon shooting and pest control is a common law right and should remain so. It has been taken away from us by EU legislation under the Bird Directive. We need to take back control of our own laws. The government shouldn't be controlled by extreme animal right extremists. That's what they are. Extreme animal right extremists. We have rights too. The farmer has rights to protect his crop. It used to be, a common law right. And the common law right should not be removed. But it has been. So, let's fight our corner. Keep writing to your MP if you haven't already. And let's hope that the situation can be resolved. Ian Sumrall, very keen pigeon shooter. And, just a little side note. I think somebody's misunderstood a protest. Somebody put some 2 dead crows onto Mr. Packham's gate last night. I think somebody has totally misunderstood the protest. The guys may have put the crows on the gate because they know that Chris Packham is a lover of wildlife and songbirds. Because the general licence has been revoked, there will be more crows, or which we call corvids, and they will devastate the younger bird population. They take eggs, they take the young, so songbird population will drop. Therefore the guys put the crows there to scare the corvids off, to maintain the songbird population. That would be my excuse if I went to court and I'd done it. But anyway, that's a little side note. And you can see I put the photograph of the 2 birds on the gate. Silly thing to do. Doesn't make us look good in the eyes of the public. But, he's the animal extremist. We have to control ourselves. So, Ian Sumrall, a very frustrated and very keen pigeon shooter, signing off. And if you want any more information, Basque Countryside Alliance, NGO and Gun on Peg are issuing as much information as they can, as quick as they can. And if you do want to register, you go on the Natural England site. Bye for now, and good luck.